Ready?
Yeah.
You look ready.
Holy potatoes. This is a massive week. There's so much to talk about. I feel like I summed it up in the description of this video. Superman soars, the Silver Surfer crashes, and Daredevil burns. Let's go.
Damn, you just ruined the whole show.
Yeah, but just about. There's a lot to unpack this week, and we're going to do it in record speed to be able to touch on everything. A lot of this stuff, I mean, how much more can you say about some of this? There's some stuff to be really optimistic about, and I definitely want to cover it. I made the thumbnail tonight. We're going to be talking about that Superman behind the scene footage. Just what a total shift for me in marketing. Like, oh my gosh. The Daredevil show wrapped up completely for season 1 of Born Again. We've got a brand new trailer for Fantastic Four. WrestleMania 533 or whatever number they're up to is currently on right now, but that's not all we counter program around here. We counter program HBO. The Last of Us season 2 returned. We got 1 episode in the tank from last week, which we'll touch on tonight. And episode 2 is on right now. So immediately following this, I'll be checking that out. I'm very excited to. I really loved season 1. And we're going to be looking at some comic books, which, my gosh, we haven't done a great job allotting for time with that, but we're definitely going to pick up the ball that I dropped on that one for sure. And
Masters is over.
Masters is over. And big thank you to yourself and my main man with pots and pans, Brother John's Comics, for holding it down last week. I had a blast, to be honest with you, just laying in bed, my body completely aching, just listening to y'all, and just every now and then y'all would say some kind of trigger word like Turok, and I'd have to lean over and grab my phone and type something and put it back. But man, I appreciate you and Brother John so much. So much. And I appreciate the 11 people that are in here right now. I definitely don't expect that there's going to be too many people with all this stuff going on, but I appreciate anybody catching on the rewind as well. And hope we make your time worth it. So let me say hey to the couple people that are already in the chat. We got the adventurous one, Joseph Michaels. Paramount just announced today Landman season 2 is coming. Yes, LFG. Yeah, they actually confirmed that last week as I sent it to my wife the second that dropped, because that's like me and her show. Like that's what after this, we would go sit down and we would watch Landman every week. And we've been watching with bated breath for that announcement. And when bringing Andy Garcia in for the finale, I'm like, there's no way they're not going to do a season 2 if you just tapped Andy Garcia to come in. Like that was a gangster move. I'm excited for that. We got the sleeveless one, Burke Family 54 Comics. It's Morphin Time. What is going on, brother? Wellbore, how are you? WrestleMania 41. Watching it right now. Yeah, so was Paul. Watch, he'll do this every time he checks in on it. That's him checking in on it. What is going on, Darth Lopez? Marvel Global box office $31.1 billion. That's really impressive. I like to see their total budget and then think of how much that box office could be if they would have made good movies for the past 5 years. It could be 60 billion, but who knows? Who knows? Let's go. DC Global box office, 7 billion. There you go. Why don't we stack it against Avatar? Let's go from there. 1 for 1. Pops Addict, good to see you in here. How many were good Marvel? Dude, there's a lot of them. Let's be real. Like, keeping it 100, there's over 20. I'd say there's 24 non-debatable good Marvel movies. There's a lot in the Infinity Saga. The Infinity Saga, I think, didn't miss. Like, I really don't. Like, I'm a fan of Thor 2 even. Iron Man 3 I enjoyed. Like, it has its faults, sure, but all in all, I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Pepper Potts. I'm like, yeah, Pepper Potts. You know, like, let's see her again in the next one, too, you know? I'll have to watch Last of Us. Enjoy, homie.
I don't think it actually starts till 9. I think she should hang out for a little while. I don't think it starts till 9.
At 9, okay. Just wanted to jump on quick to wish the Legion happy Easter. Thank you, brother. Happy Easter to you too. It was a fantastic one. I hope everyone else was able to have a happy Easter. We had I told Paul about this. We had a death in the family a couple days ago. they changed up our Easter plan. So our family got together Thursday and did some Easter egg hunting and stuff like that here at the house. And then today I was able to go to church with the kids and my mom. Kyle had to work, but worked out that we were able to have dinner together and everything. And the kids just got a whole nother Easter basket about 20 minutes ago. My mom came back over to drop off a basket that family friend had left for the kids with her, but they just keep getting Easter baskets. It's crazy. The Easter Bunny brought Finn some Mr. Beast stuff and some vintage 1996 Hot Wheel trucks and stuff, or not. It was like Hester's, the company that made like those collectible trucks back in the 90s or something like that. Hess, Hess, something like that. Yeah, some of those. They come from my wife's dad, and we just slowly give them to the kids. They don't know that.
My dad was big on Hess trucks too. They always come out with a new truck every Christmas.
Yeah. And the kids Finn ends up with them, but Kyle's dad collected them for years and years, and like kind of passing them on via holidays. It's fantastic. Nothing better to watch on Sunday nights. I agree. What is going on, Kevin Davis? Ryan Coogler's Sinners domestic box office debut, 45 million. Isn't strong at all. That, I mean, relative for what it is, you know what I mean? It's not a established franchise. Is that just domestic? If that's just domestic, that's a strong outing, man. It's an R-rated non-franchise.
It's almost 4 times more than Snow White did in his first week.
Yeah. The pre-sales for King of Kings outsold Snow White. That's amazing. Yeah, but Sinners is on a $90 million budget, and they're getting a ton of good press and a ton of good reviews. I think it might get enough legs, and I mean, really, where there's no measuring.
Made for $9 million?
90.
90 million. Oh, okay.
Yeah, 90, which is kind of advantageous, but it is Ryan Coogler's established, and it's got Michael B. Jordan. So we'll see what happens. I definitely would love to get out to see it. It's one of those, if kind of like Nosferatu, if the stars align and have an evening, I'll just kind of go on a whim, call Pops and be like, hey, meet me there. Meet me at the spot. But I plan on torturing him next week and dragging him to Thunderbolts and crossing our fingers as we sit there and hope for a good underdog movie. But I think we'd be better off just watching the underdog movie, to be honest with you, which is a solid movie, by the way. But yeah, hopefully Sinners pulls out a W. I think that's a decent start. I don't know how many people go out to the theaters for Easter weekend to go see a R-rated horror movie with the family. But King of Kings did fantastic on Easter weekend. That movie is blown past. That's a perfect example of knowing your target audience, budgeting for it, making your money back, making a profit, and now having money to start your next project with. That's how you manage a film studio. Angel Studios knows what they're doing. Enjoy their content or not, be it something that you're into or not, they absolutely are a blueprint for how to do it successfully. Because you don't see negative reviews on their stuff because their target audience is what sees it and they like it. You know, it's just I've had a few of their movies.
And they, in some, I mean, like to your point, they target their release date too.
Yeah. They got lucky being able to fight and buy the rights for Sound of Freedom. But I got that the movie with Neil McDonough. He was Dum Dum Dugan and the Captain America stuff. He does a lot of their stuff for him, and he was in like Arrow. He's got a great filmography. He's got a built-in fan base, and he does a lot of their stuff. He most recently did Homestead. Now they're marketing their next one with him in it. He does a lot of marketing for him. But I got like that first one they did for him. It's called The Shift. It's kind of like a dramatic, almost kind of Dark City-esque thriller, but it's like taking the story of Job and telling it in that kind of light. It's like the framework of the story of Job without it being like the biblical story of Job kind of deal.
Well, Angel Studios, they did, I think it was the first 3 seasons of The Chosen.
The Chosen, yeah, which is a global phenomenon.
Correct. So that brought in a lot of money for them to be able to make these movies. They're not involved in The Chosen anymore, but
they sold it to Amazon, didn't they?
No, they had a big lawyer thing going on with the guy. I think the guy's name is something Dallas. The guy Dallas Jenkins, I think his name is, in his studio, and who owns it. And it was like, when can it be released on streaming, and can it only be on the Chosen website? And there was a whole bunch of things. So they basically worked that out lawyer wise. And I think season 5 isn't out yet, but they cut him into 3 movies
They
The Last
cut
Supper.
they cut the Last Supper into 3 movies, which is
Right.
like watching 2 episodes back to back, and they're releasing them weekly through the theater. I
Right.
think we're up to part 3 now, which
Yeah. Yep.
that's wild that it's got this kind of fan base, but I haven't dove into it yet. Familiar with the story, interested to see. I mean, it doesn't catch this kind of traction without being impressive. And I know the actor who plays Jesus has made like the rounds on the talk shows and everything. The dude seems cool as a fan.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've seen the seasons that have come out so far. They the CW has been showing them every October, like October to December. They've shown like the previous season, so maybe they'll get it again, this year.
It's pretty wild. Faith-based content is having like a resurgence
Mhm.
in the last like 6 months. Like there's been stuff out there, but in the last 6 months, like there's been people like gravitating toward it, like really reaching for it. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Good Marvel movies. Iron Man, Avengers, Captain America, that's 9 movies. Spider-Man, that's 12 movies. Guardians, that's 15 movies. Thor 1 and 2, I would say. You're up to 17 movies without effort. Hulk, the Incredible Hulk is 1, I would say. The Ant-Man 1 and 2 is on there. Like they didn't start making bad movies toward the end. I wouldn't give Thor Ragnarok in that. Y'all know how I feel about Thor Ragnarok, but pretty much everything after Endgame, save for the Spider-Man fan film that they made, I don't think was a good movie. Like there's parts of them that I like, but yeah, I understand you want Marvel films to be good. This is a business. MCU has to make a profit off their films. Yeah, I'm actually the one that says exactly what you're saying. If you make good movies, you'll make money, but they haven't been making good movies. They stopped catering to their audience and started catering to somebody else, and that's where it went bad. Grandma was always good for some extra Easter goodies. Best wishes to the family, Mark. Yeah, she definitely is. I appreciate you. Jet skiing, yes. Paul, I want to hit you with a would you rather before the show is over. Rich, you know what I'm talking about. It's hanging out on Spidey stream last night, and man, it gets wild over there sometimes. There he is, Brother John. Thank you so much for hopping in. Thank you for filling in last week. Underwear on the outside. My suit feels liberating. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to get into it. Not all Iron Man movies were good, although I disagree. I know some people don't really jam with the third one, but I loved it. I loved it. Third one was awesome. I also read like a lot of those comics. It reminded me a lot from the comics when I was reading it, and I like the and I even forget what it's called now. The little glowing skin thing. That was a weird. God, who did the art on that? It was like very painted art in the comics and very low on dialogue when they did all that. MCU isn't woke at all. Please let's stop that mess. MCU is woke. Denying that fact actually hurts your cause. Like we gotta stop pretending like we don't know what that means. Because that's the problem with things is when we all play pretend. Like I get it, it's okay for things to have messaging and have to point out like the good in things and this and that and be inclusive. That's all well and good. But pretending like they didn't go too far and they lost too much audience, and that's just a word that's assigned to it. It's got a usage that when people use it, everyone knows what it means. And even when people say it's not woke or I don't know what that means, you know exactly what people are talking about. It's just being honest is the first step to getting it on track. Comics have always been political. They've always had messaging. They've always been talking about equal rights and talking about the underprivileged and like the minorities. That's always been present. But it's the way that it was told has changed drastically to its lazy writing, and it just feels like preaching and grandstanding. And it's not, they don't mean their message. They're just putting on a front.
Action Comics #1, Superman fought a bad landlord.
God, just think of like Neil Adams, like one of the biggest names in comics, legend by everybody. Like he tackled drug abuse, brought in Jon Stewart, like dude, like
racism, like
all of it. It's always been part of comics, putting the best foot forward. Stanley, everything like talked about this stuff, but like now think of the extreme example of that where you're virtue signaling. Like that's what it is. You gotta get past not pretending like that's not the case. Getting rid of beloved characters for the sake of it, because we just should have more women because we should have more women. Well, your freaking audience is 87% males you're catering to, and you're telling them that they're idiots and they're not. No, it's just dishonest. That's why they're failing. There's no honesty in their writing anymore. It's weird. It's just weird stuff. They got the Disney princesses. They bought Marvel because they literally wanted something for the boys. We got the little girls on lock even into adulthood. We need the boys. Then they get it and they're like, nah, screw it. It's crazy. They want to make money. Well, they haven't been doing it since Endgame. Save for Deadpool and Wolverine. Boys day out at the movie. It's wild. Speaking of boys, Superman.
Before we do that, don't want to forget about your sponsor, because they actually have they have a Susan G. Komen thing that they have going on right now.
Let me pull that up. I actually ordered mine for certain earlier today. $60 all in.
So they have it's a John Jang in a comic sleeve, a pink comic sleeve. It's a John Jang pink
comic capsule.
Comic capsule, yeah. To support the Susan G. Komen Foundation.
Let me see if I'm able to fast forward on this thing. No. So Nelson over at Big Time Collectibles partnered with John Jang, partnered with Comic Capsule, and partnered with Comic Shield. Comic Shield is doing a custom packaging on this, so it even comes decorated. John Jang donated the art. Comic Capsule donated the encasement that's branded pink and everything. And there's all the stuff you get in, including a certificate of authenticity. It's foiled out of its mind. It's $60, and 100% of it, because they got all of it donated, is going straight to the Susan B. Anthony Foundation, right? Susan
G. Komen.
Susan G. Komen.
Susan B. Anthony was the lady suffragist.
That's the one. So many Susan B's.
So many Susan G. Komen.
But yeah, so if you can and you feel like helping fight the good fight, Nelson and Big Time Collectors are huge supporters of Comics Curing Cancer every year as well. And this is just them. They don't fight once a year. They're doing it year round. So if you're able to and you want to pick up some cool stuff, and knowing that all the money you spend getting this awesome collectible is going straight to help fight breast cancer and breast cancer awareness, great opportunity. The link to Big Time Collectibles in the description of all the videos.
Spend the $60, there's an option just to donate too, if you want to do that.
Yeah, you can go straight to their website, click on it, click on the purchase options, and there's you can donate as little as $1 and all the way up. So it 100% is, yeah. Stephen with a C, what is going on? Hey everyone, listening from afar as I eat some dinner. Listening from afar. Yeah, there you go. Creep. Love you, Jay, man. Good to see you, brother. But yeah, be sure to check that out if it's something that you're able to or into and you want to help. There it is. It's a product of Disney, though. Look what's happening with somebody. Dude, it's unquestionable. You don't have to look at their movies. The company itself was participating in quite literal culture wars on a legal standpoint in the state of Florida. Like, they went to war with the state over this stuff. They were vocal about this. This is stuff that the showrunners, the employees, the heads of studios talked about on a regular basis. It's not a secret. It wasn't a secret agenda. It was a very public agenda that they thought that they were doing something, and that's fine. Since then, in the last 6 months, Iger himself has come out in numerous interviews stating that they're moving away from the hot topic stuff that they would do before, the advocacy storytelling, and moving back to a general entertainment style product. They said it. That's one of those things. It's not worth arguing over it. There's nothing wrong with them doing it. It's their company.
Right.
The numbers went down, and it's their job as a company to address why they went down. And it seemed like stuff was too divisive. Too many people were not separating art from entertainment. The entertainment itself was making it difficult to separate art from entertainment because it was becoming too much one. Me and Paul have talked about it on comic reviews that we've done. There's like those messages. When you read it, you want those messages. Is what reminds you why you read these characters, because they inspire us to be the best versions of ourselves. That's easy to say with a picture of Superman behind us right now. The most inspirational, like the dude's from another planet, and he's here as like a foreigner, accepted, love for his country, helps out the little guy. Everyone's worth saving. Like, these are universal ideals that when you have a good writer, he can package it and present it to you where you feel inspired, where you want to be the better version of yourself. Or you can have a lazy writer who just repeats a headline as a line of dialogue in a comic. And it's noticeable difference in quality. It comes down screw the message. You lose the message. It's just a quality issue at that point when you're reading a book and you're no longer reading a character, you're reading a headline. It's like that for a lot of people. Disney for every family around the world. You just can't cater to white folks only. Completely agree. Completely agree. Now remove white folks and add in 15 other words, and that's the problem. You can't cater to white folks. You can't cater to black folks. You can't cater to straight folks. You can't cater to gay folks. You can't cater to anyone, anything. Avatar is the perfect example. Caters to everyone. Universal storytelling. Anyone can relate to family. Anyone can relate to being lost and alone at a time in their life. Everyone likes dinosaurs, monsters, robots, sea creatures, military battles, fighting for your native homeland. It has literally everything. So there's something for everyone. This is what Disney lost. You can take white folks out and leave it blank. You can't just cater to blank folks, and that's the problem with Disney. They filled that blank in. Completely agree, Kevin. Avatar caters to Smurfs and blue people. They prioritize them. I would say they prioritize them. Yeah. Dan's Comic Corner, what is going on? Yeah. They definitely don't cater to white people for a while, Steve. It's all there. Like if you want to see it, it's all there. But it's fine. They chose a lane. They took it. It cost them a lot of money, and they're backing off of having lanes. Yeah. So I'm pulling for them. I still go and spend my money and time out of my day and hope for the best. I say it's good when I like it, and I talk about why I don't like it, and I don't. I've been highly critical of this Superman movie, which we're about to talk about right now. We're 21 minutes in and I get into it. This Superman movie from James Gunn, I've been highly critical and very let down by the marketing of this. I feel like it's pushing people away. It's splitting the fandom. We're not seeing what I said we needed was that heroic moment in the sun, which is iconic for Superman. And we just seen him beat up in the snow, fighting for a second. We had that 1 second clip of him saving that kid, which every time you see it, you're like, ooh, I'm feeling it. And then it's gone back to the rest of the trailer. Worried about the movie being too bloated with characters. But now with this behind the scene footage they gave us on Superman Day this past Friday, I feel like it was everything that I was missing. Because not only did it give us pictures of what's the guy's name? Corny Sweat. David Corn Sweat standing there in all of his glory, straight face, laughing, whatever. But he looks iconic just standing as you want him to. You get to see the scale and size of this guy. He fills the suit out. No matter what you think of the suit, it's filled out. Seeing him next to Lex, and then most importantly, hearing the cast and crew not talk about this production, not talk about these actors, not talk about James Gunn, but talk about the character of Superman in such a way that it gave me goosebumps, because it's exactly how I feel about this character that I love so much. This got me really, really excited. What did you think, Paul?
Oh yeah, that's why I sent it out. As soon as I watched it, I'm like, I gotta get this to everybody. I think I mentioned that it in the space of, I think it was like just over 2 minutes, but
2 minutes, 17 seconds.
Yeah. Within 2 minutes and 70 seconds, it explained why everyone should care about Superman.
Because he cares about you. It was amazing. And not only that, but it also gave us our first glimpses at some stuff that we haven't seen at all. And my favorite part, I'm very excited about seeing Metamorpho. I like Metamorpho. He's a fun character. He's a funny character. He's zany. He's right up James Gunn's lane. But he's also a character we haven't seen at all before depicted in live action. And they gave us this shot right here. There's no CGI in this picture. This is on set, raw footage. We have practical effects of, what's his name? Barry Keoghan. What's this guy's name? No, that's a different guy. Whoever it is. Yeah, but this guy wearing the practical suit, being spot on. I know a couple of the old schools aren't keen on the trunks because they prefer him in the classic Speedo. But the trunks, like Pops pointed out to me, it's keep it in line with what we're seeing with the rest of the suits for the Terrifics team, which is exactly what he wore for a stint in the comics when he was on the Terrifics. So that's all well and good. I was relieved to hear his voice. And yeah, that's another thing, right? We got to hear some dialogue from this guy. I'm happy he didn't sound like he'd been huffing helium. Yeah. But man, I was legitimately moved by this. Like DJ Link's good buddy. He's kind of felt the same way about like the lackluster marketing. You sent that in the chats. I watched it immediately and I called Pops.
Mm.
I'm like, Pops, go in the group chat right now, watch the Superman thing and call me back. I said, I think we're going to be all right. He goes, all right. He went watching, he called me back. He's like, holy smokes. I'm like, right? And it's not even a trailer.
Right.
It's just like you're just there with him. And then I messaged DJ. I'm like, man, what are you doing? He's like, I'm working. I'm like, stop working. Watch this. Watch it now. And same thing. It's the best piece of marketing they could have possibly put out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Glad Crypto's there. I'm glad the Fortress spins around. I'm glad Green Lantern has a terrible haircut. But this is what we needed. I was ecstatic about it. And it couldn't have come at a better time because the day before that, Disney tried to just unify the fans in their hate for this. Yeah, I've never seen the fans so unified. It happens every now and then. And it seems like they always just unify over, like they all agree it's a bad take. Everything on the trailers, on all the posts that are online, like it seems the fans are pretty unified in the comments saying this seems highly unnecessary. Where's Norrin Rad? But we got the full-on Fantastic Four trailer and the reveal of female Silver Surfer. Has it been confirmed if it's Shala Ball or female Silver Surfer or what?
I don't know if it's been confirmed or not.
I think everyone's just assuming it's Shala Ball. Glad it's being handled by a creator that loves the character. Say what you want about Gunn, he's at least passionate, 1000%. And I was thinking about this today, T-Dubs, like because I like to try to like how do I think this is going to play out based on what I've seen? What is this movie kind of thing? And I was thinking about it this evening on the way home from dinner. I'm like, James Gunn is such an unconventional storyteller. Like he's got he's got the Joseph Campbell narrative in there. You know, you'll have the hero's arc in there, but he's still going to take you on a journey down road you didn't know were there. So, man, I'm interested. Pop said it's Shala Ball.
And it's interesting too because Peter Safran actually talks about that at the very beginning, right? He says that originally James Gunn wasn't sure he wanted to do Superman.
Yeah.
Right. Even though that's a logical place to start with the DC universe, he was like, he said he didn't know a way in originally, and then suddenly, they use that term. James. He said then suddenly James said to me, "Okay, I think I found a way in," and from there he just ran with it.
Well, yeah, that had my goosebumps, man. There's been very few, and I'm going to go and throw this in there, very few comic book people that aren't excited about the Superman movie, and those that don't like it, I feel, are the same ones who have been negative about it since the beginning. Their choice, though. Yeah, dude, that Superman movie is redonkulously divisive and to the general online audience. And again, if Avatar, gold standard for a lot of examples for me, online audience don't always matter when you got something that's genuinely moving a needle. Because everyone, remember, man, because I was cheerleading for it from day one, but remember how couldn't find 3 people that were cheerleading for Avatar. Then the thing dominated 13 years later. Told y'all don't bet against James Cameron. I swim in different circles. I see the Avatar fandom hiding out there, but man, I think the Superman might be different. But online, in the online bro circle, man, that movie, you go to any Superman post at all, even on a DC fan page, it's split. But I don't know if those are comic people versus just comic movie people, which is a fair description, fair fandom. Not everybody who watches these reads them, you know what I mean? But I'm a diehard Superman guy, Steve, and I've just been nervous from jump with this, from jump. But man, that gave me so much hope, as it should. Yeah, I'm all in for it, and the timing's perfect too, because I'll go see it the earliest showing, assuming it'll be a Thursday, and then the very next morning I head to the island, not the Epstein one, but head to the St. Simon's one. And then a couple days later, we'll be hanging out, having just seen this. That's perfect timing. Hanging out in person just within days after watching this. God, I can't wait, man. It's going to be a good trip this year.
Yeah. You got me thinking. Maybe you'd be like, hey, you know what?
Let's just go to the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go to the movie. But yeah, what did you think of the Fantastic Four trailer? Any new thoughts or feelings on it?
I was underwhelmed, like most people, I think, or a lot of people uh with the female Silver Surfer. It almost feels as though they didn't really put a lot of thought into or a lot of effort into the special effects because
They really didn't, did
it
they?
doesn't look any exactly it doesn't look any better than it did 18 years ago.
It
Um,
actually looks worse.
yeah, and they did better in T2.
Yeah. Yo, the second that trailer dropped, that's where my mind went.
Mhm.
And I noticed how many people picked that up. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people had the same thought, but I know a few of them had to have seen my post because it was within moments of that trailer dropping. And I was posting the new Lady Silver Surfer looks tougher than I thought. And I just had shots of T1000 everywhere.
Mhm. Yeah, and we finally got to see a more. I mean, it wasn't really a long shot, but Mr. Fantastic kind of stretching a little bit.
Which looked
So yeah,
fantastic, in my opinion. That looked really good.
yeah,
Stretchy powers confirmed. They don't look like trash.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the aesthetics are cool. I don't know if I'm just like, it's one of those things like, I don't have reason to have faith in it. I think Vanessa Kirby is like the all-star casting job of the whole thing. Pedro Pascal does not look like Reed Richards. I'm like, it's like, why is Pedro Pascal talking to the Fantastic Four and where is Reed? Is how it feels when I look at it. And I enjoy Pedro Pascal. Love him in The Mandalorian. Love him in The Last of Us. He was great in Game of Thrones. He was awesome in The Kingsman, The Golden Circle. Like, he's a fantastic actor, but I'm having a hard time seeing him as anything but Joel, really, in a convincing role. I don't know. Galactus' feet walking through the city. That was such a cool shot, wasn't it? That was wild. Not an FF fan, but the second trailer was better. Still not something that moved the needle for me. Yeah, I'm definitely going to see it. Hoping for the best. I'm still more excited for Thunderbolts than anything. Like the first Thunderbolts trailer had like the campy joking this and that, but the second and now the third trailer kind of cut to focus on Sentry and the Void and backtracked with a good song and just gives you that, like, I'm really rooting for these characters kind of feel. Like, I'm excited for Thunderbolts. I'm hoping that that's like really the one for this year. These characters deserve a win. And Florence Pugh is pulling off a large scale practical stunt for the film, a base jump, like a legit. She's doing it, which I'm like, get him, girl. That's cool as hell.
Going back to Superman, did you see the James Gunn post about the actor who plays um can't think of his name. Midnight. No, not Dr. Midnight. The guy, the Fair Play guy. Can't think of his
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific. Sorry, yeah, Mr. Terrific. Did you see his post on his birthday that he posted on Mr. Terrific's birthday? James Gunn.
Possibly. I'm not sure. I feel like I see all of his posts.
In the background, you could see, if you looked really hard, you could see Lex Luthor's battle armor.
Now I know that there's Lex Luthor. We saw him in the trailer surrounding Mr. Terrific and Lois. You also see him again in this behind the scenes. Lex has like a security detail that has like armor that's purple with green on it.
Maybe that's what it was, but to me it looked like, maybe that's what they were, but it looked like it was like.
Man, I don't know how far back I'd have to go to find that if it's still up. All right, there's Mr. Terrific. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the happy birthday one. Yeah. So that's the scene with him and Lois from the trailer when they're outside and the people are shooting at him and the spheres are protecting him. That's Lex's security team around him that's clad in armor that's purple with green trim. But there's a lot of them. They were in the behind the scene things. And also a lot of people are getting that shot. This right here, like, oh, Lex's battle armor. This is actually the hammer of Baravia. There's a picture of him on the front page of the newspaper that the police officer was reading that people were speculating was potentially Gorilla Grodd earlier on when they got a worse shot of this paper, but this character is right there, Hammer of Baravia. So I don't know if we'll have Lex in the battle armor, but if you stick around to the end of the stream, you will see Lex in the battle armor. James Gunn making this Superman all about him. Let the cast promote this film on it, so the audience will give this film a chance. I don't know.
I don't get that at all.
I don't know. I know a lot of people are not big fans of James Gunn. That's where the split for this movie comes in. But I don't know. The fact that it's not called James Gunn Superman is, like evidence number one. When I personally think it would have been a better title for it. James Gunn Superman. They do that a lot just to separate. The original one was Superman the movie. This is just Superman. Superman Legacy sounded too suggestive of a story. Just how are you going to start at Legacy? But
right.
I don't know. James Gunn, supposedly it wasn't even his call to put himself in the opening credits of Creature Commandos. The team did that. But I don't know. I think that he's got a big job. Like, his job isn't just to make this movie. Like, outside of this movie, he's supposed the same kind of effort he's doing to push and market this. He's supposed to be doing that for all of them. He's actually making this one, but the next one's Supergirl. So we'll see if he's still pushing as hard for that one. But I was happy to see the rest of the cast, like we mentioned earlier, talking about the character more than the actors, the cast, the crew. They're like, man, that was solid. I'll be seeing Thunderbolts on Wednesday. No worries, no spoilers for it. Appreciate that. Thank you, sir. I'm going to go out on a limb, and you gave it an 8 out of 10. There it is. Joe, we're turning in Joe's official score on Thunderbolts, 8.5 out of 10, because he wants to shake it up. He's going to have to shake it up. If the last movie was an 8 out of 10, this one's got to be a 9 out of 10. We'll go with 9 out of 10. That's where I'm going to predict. I'm just worried they're going to nerf this. Of course. You can't not with this cast. Like, dude, when Sentry rolled out and fought the new Avengers, Sentry gets called in to put down World War Hulk. The MCU Thunderbolt's going to do. You better call the Masters of Evil if you even want a fighting start. Like this. Like, what are we doing here? James Gunn is a bigger name than most in the movie, though, and he's coming over from Marvel. Facts. Part of the marketing is his name. He's got a lot of goodwill. Like, say what you want about the Guardians of the Galaxy it's debatable, but as the Chosen Ones talked about last night, like, Captain America is the best franchise in the MCU. Guardians of the Galaxy is hot on its heels. Not a miss in the 3 of them.
4, including the Christmas special.
Yeah, the 4. The Christmas special was amazing. He's an actor. Yeah. I love the Guardians movies. I was so pleasantly happy with that third one. Like, man, I guess that's post Endgame. That's the best thing they put out since post Endgame was Guardians 3. Mm-hmm. What a damn good movie that was. My scores have become too predictable. Yeah, because you only work between a margin of 2 numbers. Give it a 1 or a 2. There you go. 1 or a 2. I'm excited for Superman because of James Gunn. There you go. A lot of people are. Got a lot of goodwill. I like James Gunn. I liked his Suicide Squad film a lot. It was so good. So good. I love the Guardians. Love Super. Love Slither. Dude, you're good. Me feels for Superman remain mixed. Irish Cliff has joined us today.
Why are you talking like a leprechaun?
Me feels for Superman remain mixed. Suicide Squad, Super is baller. Peacemaker's peak TV, 1,000%. 1,000%. Peacemaker was like the best superhero TV show we had until the finale of Superman and Lois, which I credit that as having the best finale. But all in all, Peacemaker's still the best comic book TV show we've gotten in modern years since the start of Max streaming with HBO or Disney Plus. Like, nothing even comes close to Peacemaker. Not true. I give that fracking Madam Web a 0 out of 10. Complete garbage. Bet it's better than Snow White. Suicide Squad and Peacemaker are really good, which gives me hope. I didn't enjoy Creature Commandos show. Yeah, I don't think any of them went into bad for me, but like, it was like, that was okay. I think my biggest thing was like, again, this rollout of the DCU could have been so different. I know they were wanting to get stuff out, but how are you going to start the DCU with an R-rated cartoon miniseries on a streaming service that a lot of people don't have yet? Like, win them at the box office and bring them to the streaming service. They weren't there. Like, I talked to grown men who sat down to watch this new DCU with my kid and had to turn it off in the first 5 minutes, had no clue. Now, it's on us to be responsible adults to like know what we're watching, but this is a general audience person. This wasn't someone who like keeps up with this stuff in grave detail and nothing like that. And I'm sure that happened to more than a couple of people. But yeah. You know you're not. I'm gonna be at you forever on that one, brother. All right, let's roll it in. Okay, real quick. Just want to touch on this for 1 second. For all you people saying, why are y'all mad? She's comic accurate. You ready? There's 100% of the comics she appeared in. Now we can move on. Shala Ball. She's been there since Silver Surfer 1. No, Shala Ball that's like let's put Vampire Batman from the Elseworld in this new James Gunn Superman movie and tell people, you know, it's a new franchise. This Batman was in the comics before. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But that's legitimately the entirety of Girl Silver Surfer and Earth X, like her. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You've done it. You've now read 100% of her comic appearances as Silver Surfer. But anyways, Daredevil Born Again. Let's get to the finale of this. It wrapped up, thank God. I'll let you. Oh, let me get a slide. I'll let you start. What did you think of Daredevil Born Again?
It was not great. It was really kind of more of a setup for the second half of the season or season 2, whatever you want to call it. I think I read somewhere too, and something that I agree with is that it seemed as though some of the gore just were there for gore's sake. I didn't really need to see Wilson Fisk crush the head of the commissioner.
And then his hands slip on the prop, and they don't even go on the prop properly.
Yeah. It's like,
I called it last week during Masters Week. I popped on my own morning live stream and was talking about it. I said, the show seems so disjointed that the finale is going to be a jumbled mess, that they're going to cover it in violence to try to distract people from the fact that it's incohesive. And that's exactly what we got. But it was rough. I got a question for anyone in the chat, and specifically for you, Paul. You know how Frank walked into the warehouse and got in the fight with all the task force members?
Yeah.
Why did he walk in that warehouse?
Just looking for something to do.
Looking for something to do. Yeah, Frank goes home. Karen and Matt wander off to go investigate. Next time you see Frank, he's walking into this warehouse. No weapons, no preparation, nothing, just to get taken high. It was what are we doing here?
I have a question for you.
Okay.
How did Daredevil and Frank, when they jumped out of Matt's apartment, land on a car that seemed to be almost a block away from the apartment?
Oh, that's a good question. All right, so when he jumped, they did do the bro hug, aim for the bushes, and he shot his club out. So maybe we're going back to like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man days, where you don't need a building there; you just have to shoot the web.
Okay, because it was obviously because they were looking at when they showed the apartment. It was
not
really a block away.
Oh man. Oh yeah, they needed Frank to be sitting in a chair tied up to cuss out the people wearing his vest, because they needed and someone commented on one of my posts, we needed that scene of Frank telling those people who appropriated his logo. We needed that scene of them. Like, yeah, because where would society be without forcing that scene?
Right.
That's what like forcing a narrative ruins the show. That scene should happen. But when you have to force it in there because you couldn't think of a way to write it in there, you just have a.
Did you see the after credit scene?
Yeah. Why did we even put him in the cage to begin with?
How stupid is somebody who's gonna shake the hand of someone who's in one of those? Knowing he's Frank Castle.
You from Jersey? I'm from Jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
Brucifer, man, he was being hilarious last night on. It's like, I can sum up the Daredevil show really quick. I've already done it. You from Jersey? I'm from Jersey. You're from Jersey. That's what I said to you. He never does things without a plan or a weapon. Like, exactly. Dude has no superpowers. He's a tactician. He plans. He schemes. That's what he does. It was wild. It was weird. Bad show. It was definitely, this is one of those things where paying attention to what happens behind the camera gives you a lot of insight on what you're looking at. This was one of those ones that they made the show, got slowed down from the strikes and stuff, and Disney themselves looked at this show and said, we can't release this. This is awful. Keep in mind, this is the same company that released She-Hulk. This is the same company that released Secret Invasion with Sam Jackson. This is the same company that made the Marvels. They looked at this and said, we can't release it. Don't put this out. But and someone said, but didn't we just release Echo? And they said, yes, but don't release this. You can release Echo. That was fine. But this can't go out. This will ruin us. So they fired people, hired new people, reworked, rewrote, reshot. And it feels like it. The first 15 minutes of the show, you can pause it right there. Go get a glass of water, come back and skip to episode 8 and 9. And you really wouldn't be lost. Because that's where the new crew came in. And it feels like it. It was just weird. It was unfortunate. They thought that just throw some blood in there will trick them. And then it worked on a lot of people. I don't know how many people I commented with and had conversations with on Instagram and stuff. They went edgy and no one expected them to. And that was awesome. Like, dude, everyone expected them to. That was the plan from the beginning. They went edgy with Moon Knight years ago. We just got done with Deadpool and Wolverine. Disney has no problems. And they've shown it. They've slapped R on stuff under their banner. They will go R-rated and bloody when it's applicable. And this was no different. So you don't get a free pass because you put blood on screen. That's why I don't watch The Boys. It bores me. It's just a gimmick. Like, I'm sure, like, there's some fun stuff in there, whatever. That one guy's wiener answered the door that episode. That ha-ha. That one guy climbed into that person's wiener and sneezed and killed him. Ha-ha. It's great. That kind of stuff is only fun for so long. I prefer a good story, and this suffered the same fate. It was just weird.
Well, but to be fair for The Boys, I mean, it does kind of actually mirror the comic.
Yeah, the hero-gasm issue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not my jam because a lot of the I mean, it's Garth Ennis, so a lot of Garth Ennis stuff is brutality, it's shock and all, but some of his stuff he really delivers some depth to. That Peacemaker one shot he did, I was like, dude, this is about to be violent. Nope, it was just like a hard introspection issue on Christopher, and you didn't really get any Peacemaker in it. And then you got like his Get Fury series he just did. It was violent, action-packed, didn't have much character depth, but that isn't what it was. It was a run for your life kind of book. So you really don't know what you're going to get with Garth Ennis. And I haven't dove through the Boys series, but why the hell was the Swordsman in the show at all? Because they have to call back to their own properties. Why was Kamala Khan's dad in here? No business being in there. Dude, the Swordsman actually confused one viewer. I saw one reviewer on a short or something say, oh, Fisk put all the vigilantes in cages. He didn't. Swordsman was in there, but it was all of the financial competition and roadblocks that he could potentially run into, save for Swordsman and Frank. My final judgment on Born Again season 1, 5 out of 10. Started strong and then crashed harder than Superman in the snow. Definitely not too soon. They made Wilson Fisk look weak in Echo. Facts. They made him look weak in Hawkeye first. Then they made him crush a commissioner's head. Yeah, he got taken out by a little kid with a bow and arrow. Then he got shot in the head by Echo. Then he got reconnected with his inner child by Echo in the Echo series, and now here we are. Then he got big dogged by his wife Vanessa, who the only reason his criminal empire even stands is because she's better at it than him. And she gets respect where he gets fear. His men love her. Like, what are we doing here? Garth Pennis. Happy Easter to you too, Trev, and happy other holiday to all y'all who partook in the other holiday. Somebody's famous' birthday today too, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Somewhere. Yeah, don't look it up. Let's see what else we got in here. I think that was pretty much it for the stuff that I wanted to hit. There's Fantastic Four. Silver Surfer stupid. Daredevil was horrible. Superman, man, turned the corner for me.
You're not going to talk about the big news this week?
And then the big news this week that Paul is going to tell you about.
At the Star Wars celebration in Japan, it was announced that Sean Levy will be making his next Star Wars movie, and it will star Ryan Gosling. Because Star Wars Starfighter. And it's supposed to be set 5 years after the last movie, so after The Rise of Skywalker. And apparently will have no connection to it whatsoever. It'll be all new characters, supposedly. So, and it's coming out in 2 years. Coming out in 2027.
It's a long time. I wonder if it'll actually come out, because that's one thing about the Star Wars franchise. They have announced more movies and
They have
shows
like,
than they've
like
released.
have like 8 movies that are still supposed to come out or something like that.
This was big news. We lost Ray Stevenson after the filming of Ahsoka. Ray Stevenson was a fantastic actor. Portrayed the Punisher even in Warzone. Crushed it as Balin. Like, that show was so good. Like, I'm a hard critic, and I really enjoyed that show to the point that it took me back to go watch a lot of Rebels to catch up. But Roy McCann is picking up the cowl and carrying the legacy where Ray left it. And there's a lot of story to be told with this Balin character. Roy seems like such a fitting successor to this role. This is the Hound from HBO's Game of Thrones. I think that you couldn't have found a better guy if you tried. But that was the big one for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was excited about that. Pirate King Luffy says, "Is Batman 2 canceled?" I think all but them saying it, if you ask me for my opinion. None of us know, but
he's committed to doing Dune 3 before that anyway. So
yeah, Robert Pattinson.
But they still say that it might still work, because by the time he finishes, if he finishes he has the Spawn syndrome. That they can never really finish. They can never actually finish a script. So, but supposedly, if he finishes a script, by the time they get everything up and running, it could work out, because they say Pattinson may have 4 to 5 months of filming for Dune 3. He could go right into Batman 2 right after that. So
yeah, as much as I love Batman, give me Dune 3. God, I love that franchise. Yeah, it's just, those are good movies. Bizarro Cliff says Daredevil Reborn and bestest series of Bizarro's amazing 2025 so far. Damn. That bad, huh? Or I'm sorry, that good, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, Rough. But yeah, that was some pretty big news. But Last of Us season 2 episode 1 premiered last week, and it was for me, I know this is getting a lot of flack for not being dynamic enough of a start, but I don't think that's the nature of this show. It hasn't been since I started watching it. I don't play the video games. I'm just familiar with the franchise in the most general of senses from my friends telling me about it. Then I watched the HBO show and absolutely loved it. Every single episode was almost self-contained masterpiece in itself. And that's this season 2 episode 1 felt like you're stepping right back into the saddle. The pacing was there. We got like plenty of clicker action and even a stalker, which is a special kind of bad guy from the game that is a little bit smarter than the rest. You had that looming threat of the cordyceps coming into town through the pipe. You had Abby making her way to town. There was a lot of setup there. You were introduced to some more characters that you might be inclined to start to like, and you got some weight toward and worry about if they survive or not. I think it served a lot of purposes, a lot of functions, and it also reminded us how terrible and insufferable of a human being Ellie is, which that's how she's supposed to be, I assume, from how she's written and how she's portrayed flawlessly by that little girl from Game of Thrones. Again, a lot of Game of Thrones. HBO has got their own stable of people, but Bella Ramsey is a phenomenal actress. I know she gets a lot of flack for not looking like Ellie. I've made my fair share of comments as well, but her acting job is undeniable. She is just absolutely crushing this role. Crushing it. Rod, what is going on, brother? Good to see you in here. Happy Easter, my friend.
I was a little bit disappointed that the therapist that was talking to Pedro Pascal's character didn't at one point just scream, "Kevin!"
Kevin! Yes. Yes. Yeah, I like seeing that how man, like think about what Tom Cruise would say, our life is the sum of our choices. And that's kind of the boat that Joel is in right now. Like his relationship with Ellie, the way that he feels about himself sitting there in therapy across from a woman whose husband that he killed, and like all of these things, everything going wrong in his life is a sum of his own choices. And I like the fact that that decision he made in the finale of season 1 is not over with. It's completely affecting everything about his daily life right now. And I think that's really cool. I think that's really, really cool. Because from what I understand, when you play the first game, that was like a huge deal. And like, you can there's some kind of interactiveness to the game that you tell Ellie, or you choose to take out the people or not take them out. I don't play the game, but I think it felt like a heavy moment in the show that he lied to her about how he rescued her and what happened to the people that he rescued her from. So yeah, I'm very excited to see where it goes this season. I do know the big thing about the second video game. Been aware of it since before this was a TV show. Like, I have a buddy who's super into it. So when it happened in the second game, he sent me the YouTube, like watch these, what are they called? Cinematics or cut screens or something. So I had to watch all the cinematics from the first game, which was like over an hour worth of watching on YouTube just for this like 5-minute segment about the second game. That was like life changing for him when he played the game. I'm like, yeah, cool, man. It's whatever. But now that I'm watching the show, I'm like, Walking Dead 2.0, here we come. That's how it was in the second game too. The weight of the lie comes back to haunt him when Ellie finds out the truth. I can't even imagine. It's going to be wild. But yeah, a lot of good stuff happening. A lot of good stuff to look forward to. I am also a Righteous Gemstones fan, and a new episode comes out today on Easter Sunday. So that's going to be wild viewing. I might watch that and watch Last of Us tomorrow. But yeah, some really good stuff. Really good stuff. I hope everybody's finding something that they're enjoying watching. What's up, big dude?
What are you thinking?
Where'd you put it?
He's not
Did you clean it up? Put it in your room? Go check.
No.
Go check. Paul said, hey.
No one said hi.
He said, tell him I said, hi, as he ran out the room. So you want to get into some books, man? We got some catching up to do.
Comic books? What are we talking about here?
Let's overview some books, my guy. Can we start with a certain one?
Sure.
Let's start where one ended.
Okay.
Because I don't think it gets enough people talking about it. There's a few people picking it up, and I feel like everybody that picks it up talks about how shockingly good it is. I say it's better than it has any right being. And every issue it has been. It's been a 5-issue miniseries, and the final issue came out this week of Challengers of the Unknown. These characters go back to the Silver Age of DC Comics. They're everywhere right now in DC as they're like active members on the Watchtower where the JSA are housed, but they got their own little miniseries in this all-in era. And did you happen to pull this series?
I did. But I have not read it yet, though.
Any of it?
No. I read the first 4 issues. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You just haven't read this final issue.
Correct.
Oh, I don't want to spoil it. We'll definitely, when you get it in, definitely put it on your to talk about pile. We'll revisit the final issue. But this series has been fantastic. The premise of it is Darkseid's death and how it affects everything in different ways in the DC universe. The Challengers specifically kind of came together via near-death experience and having touched death, the death of Darkseid, who's like death incarnate in many ways in the DC universe, has touched and affected them in a very unique way. And man, oh man, this series stuck the landing.
Yeah, I mean everything that has been tied into the Darkseid Absolute Universe all-in storyline so far to me has been incredible. There have been some hits and misses, I think, in the all-in. Like, I mean, I know you love Metamorpho, but I think it started off good, and then it kind of like.
Dude, I dropped it. I dropped freaking Metamorpho. Al Ewing is just crap the bed with that.
Yeah. But the first episode, I mean, the first issue was really good.
Yeah,
but
very promising. Like, yay. Yeah. He's saying too much and not doing anything. Like, it's so weird. I know that's a term that's used a lot, but just imagine if you have like a throwaway nobody villain that you don't need to know about, and he has unlimited dialogue of saying things that are not germane and have no bearing on the story, but they're just talking for the sake of talking, and it literally has nothing to do with the story at any point. And that's what his book is. Like, it's crazy. I loved him on We Only Find Them When They're Dead. Loved him on Immortal Hulk. Didn't he write Immortal Hulk? Yeah, he wrote Immortal Hulk.
Yep.
Crazy what he's doing with Metamorpho. It's wild. But that's unfortunate. I'm hoping that it was only set out to be a mini series, because I don't want there to be like this long run of Metamorpho that I'm like tempted to go back and recollect and force myself to read through, hoping and thinking it'll get good eventually, because I doubt it will if he's writing it. It's just not the character for him. He's leaning too far into the Silver Age. It's supposed to be a Silver Age silly gimmick style to it, and he went for it and went past it and missed it.
Well, don't think of it as though you're putting money in to get something bad. Look at it as though you're putting money in to donate to Pop's Attic.
But yeah, I didn't even sold him over there. It'd be different if I wasn't buying the A covers. I kept my Ian Bertram. You know what I mean? I kept my Ian Bertram #1. Now, if I that's something like I could just cover buy. You know what I mean? If I wanted to just connect it, I could just get a variation of a cover. Yeah, dude, I picked up Immortal Thor, like thinking, okay, we got the gimmick. We got Al Ewing writing. We got Ross on the covers. I've dropped that crap after like 4 issues. I'm like, I'm not falling for this trash. I stayed on Christopher Cantwell's Iron Man for an extended period of time, thinking it would pick up, and it didn't. I wasn't going to stay there long like that again. Then Cantwell. Didn't he do Challengers? Isn't that who did that?
Yep.
Yeah, Christopher Cantwell. So, don't judge a writer by one run. I'll say that now. Don't assume Ewing's going to crush everything he does, and don't think Cantwell's going to crap the
Unless his
bed.
name is John Ridley.
Unless it's John Ridley, it is guaranteed to be trash. Trash. And there was another writer here recently. I'm like, you're about to go on my John Ridley list. And that's a very short list. It's only John Ridley. I'm not like that. And fair enough, I still buy and try John Ridley written books when it's on titles that I already collect and stuff. Hell,
you're buying for Ryan Parrott. You're not buying for John Ridley.
The Amanda Waller story.
Yeah.
Other history of the DC universe. Like, I want the content. I need the canon. Like, you're writing canon. I need that information. I want that canon. Quit crapping on the canon. Who's absolutely crushing it? I'm not normally a fan of his ongoing titles. Love his Elseworld stuff, but not a biggest fan of his ongoing stuff. A lot of people are. That's Tom Taylor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What issue is that? Detective Comics 1096. Look at that cover.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read this one yet?
I did.
What'd you think?
I have loved Tom Taylor, everything that he has done. I loved his Titans. I loved his Nightwing, his Detective Comics. Obviously, his way back to the Earth 2 stuff, and what was the game show one that the one that he did? Injustice.
Oh yeah. So I said game show. My man,
I think I did say game show first, but I meant to get
yeah. I played that on the phone before.
Yeah. He just but I think we've talked about this too. Normally he's good at like the Earth 2 stuff and the Injustice stuff, and he's good at any Dark Knights of Steel.
Oh my gosh.
He's good at creating these worlds, and from scratch almost, and basically putting them in, taking characters that are familiar and making them a little bit different, which is the whole Elseworlds concept. But yeah, he definitely is a big world builder, and those are the titles that I've loved the most, as opposed to him coming onto an established character like Batman on Detective Comics. But I loved his Nightwing stuff. It was just incredible that he did with Bruno Redondo. He won, I think, 2 Eisner Awards for the stuff that he did on Nightwing. So yeah, he's just he's doing okay for himself. And now he's working his magic on Detective Comics, and I think that's all that he's writing right now. But he probably has some more stuff. I'm sorry, he has some more stuff in the pipeline, because he was a DC exclusive. I don't know if he still is or not, but he was. So, you guys reading any Tom Taylor stuff at all? See, Nick Spencer is guaranteed to be trash. We can say Nick Spencer because the comic Fred isn't here. We're not allowed to say it when he's around. But have you guys read any Tom Taylor stuff? Or if so, are you enjoying it? What's your thought? Tom Taylor's Nightwing reminded me too much of Matt Fraction's Hawkeye. Okay, I can understand that. Speaking of Matt Fraction, he's coming on Batman in a little while, and since he's gone, we can talk about. Did you guys hear that Grant Morrison is going to be writing a new Batman story? We don't know what yet, but he announced at the beginning of the week that he was going to be doing some more writing for one of the big 2. He didn't say what it was, but then a day or 2 ago, he announced that it was going to be Batman. So he's going to be doing some more Batman. Didn't say if it's a miniseries or what it's going to be. But yeah, Grant Morrison coming back to Batman. So that's kind of some huge news. We had the DC Solicits came out this past week as well. So we got Mark Waid is also now doing a one-shot, the Justice League Dark Tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had something in here with that on there.
Basically taking all of the out of time heroes, like Batman Beyond is going to be there.
Oh, that's what Gold Beetle, right?
Yeah, exactly. Gold Beetle's going to be there.
Yes. Did you catch the Oh my God, what was that in? Okay, I can't say anything else. You got to catch up on some stuff from this week.
Okay.
But yeah, the that Dark Tomorrow's got Booster, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Gold Beetle, Huntress, and Batman Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about a ragtag team. That looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But sorry, Monkey was acting a donkey for Mama.
It's okay.
It's not okay.
Can't be
It's
having that.
No, you gotta listen to your mama. At least when you're 5, you do.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, when you're like in your 30s, 40s, 50s, then it gets a little bit iffy. You want to put some weight on what she's saying, but when you're 5, you just gotta listen. It's been a big day for a little lady.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't translate to bedtime very easily sometimes. What did I miss? Where are we at? What do you got?
We just talked about Tom Taylor, and then I mentioned Grant Morrison coming back to Batman.
Oh, what did you? We didn't touch on it, but we can definitely talk about it. The return of Hush, man.
Yeah.
Hush 2 officially kicked off. You know, we got the dream team back of Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee.
Yeah. What if I have it's a theory. I'm not sure how much it's going to fly, but I have a theory that's not Tommy Elliott under there.
I don't think so either.
You know, I think it is Two-Face, Hush 2.
I didn't think about that. But I didn't think it was Thomas Elliott. I'm just a villain's only as good as his first defeat. Then they're just kind of like, you know, and we don't really see Hush outside. Like we'd had Hush.
Right.
That was really pretty much it. You know, and so him coming back's interesting. Like how big of a threat could he possibly be? But I did like a lot about it.
Mm-hmm.
The dynamic of that book, the pacing of that book. Of course, the art was pretty solid. Jim Lee.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the sense of urgency and danger, you know, because that was one thing that was present in the first Hush, you know, the cutting of the bat line. Like who could possibly have known and done such a thing with this high steel line and blah, blah, blah. And this, it was like hacking into the bat computer in that moment. Was like, shut it down. I'm like, oh man, he was shook. Batman getting shook is always interesting. He got shook in Hush, got shook in the Court of Owls run. It's like when he's legit shook, not just when like shake him. But yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm excited to see where it goes. How many issues is this going to be now?
6. Then they're taking a break, and then they're going to do 6 more. So they're not taking a break. They're taking a break to finish the last 6 because they're not going to be able to put 12 out in a row.
I thought they had finished all of this before they announced it.
The first 6 they've announced. They have finished.
How long is the break?
They haven't said. But that's when they're doing the first 6. Then Matt Fraction takes over with a new Batman #1, and then they're going to do probably the second 6 as probably a 6-issue miniseries.
Bro, that's crazy. No, that's fair enough. Because doing it this way gives Matt Fraction time to get to work beforehand too.
Right. Well, apparently he's already writing like issue 7 already or something like that. He's like,
wow.
He's like way
I'm
ahead.
excited for his run as well. It's gonna be solid, Matt Fraction. That's wild. And yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. Now, knowing that it's only 6 now, I might go back and grab those obscenely large versions. What did you think of that gimmick?
I thought it was pretty good. It's just that it's one of those things where it doesn't fit into any protected bag, you know, it doesn't fit into any box unless you lay it on the side in a box. You know,
I think Izzy told me that it'll fit in a 11x17 top loader. I don't know if that's accurate, but because how they make top loaders for original art.
Yeah, maybe that's entirely possible. Yeah.
But I don't remember if he said it will or to give it a try. I can't remember for certain. But love me some Izzy. If he said it, it's worth looking into. That's for sure. This week we also had Absolute Flash issue #2 drop, as well as the first part of the crossover that's happening that started this week called We Were Yesterday. Now this is interesting. We're not doing a big summer event this year at DC Comics. They're not going to mess up the flow of All In, thank God. But they're doing this story called We Were Yesterday, which is a 6-part crossover between World's Finest and the current Justice League Unlimited. Mark Waid is writing it. Dan Moore is doing some of the art. I'm assuming he's doing the art on Justice League Unlimited. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Clayton Henry will be doing all 3 issues for World's Finest, maybe. maybe, or maybe it was just this one while we are still in the back time.
I think Clayton Henry is doing the 3 for World's Finest, but Dan Mora is, I believe, only doing chapter 6,
Okay,
the interior art.
that's super unfortunate.
And he's doing, like I said, he's doing all the covers, the connecting covers and everything. But
Yeah, Clayton Henry's definitely not bad, but man, Dan Mora is just Dan Mora. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The little premise behind this is the Legion of Doom is attacking. And as you know, the Legion of Doom is not banded right now in the main universe. This is the Legion of Doom from the past. We get our first look into how this is all kicking off in issue 38 of World's Finest this week. And Paul and myself have already recorded the DC Comics deep dive, where we go into great detail on both of these, flipping through them, talking about them, breaking them down. We do that on his channel every single Monday, pretty much aiming on the absolute stuff and any kind of events that happen throughout DC Comics. So check the description. You'll find a quick link to Sector 2815, where you can find him and I over there every Monday and every other Wednesday for the live game show called Guess That Key, where you can win buku of giveaways that he's doing every time he does one of those shows. Are absolutely impressive and saying giveaways. I will give you a spoiler now, though. Both of them were awesome. Both of them are awesome. If you had any reservations about the Absolute Flash, because I mentioned it on there, a lot of people I saw kind of rank it last or lower on the totem pole, or were kind of confused by it. This one really gives you a lot, and leaves you still wanting a lot, and gives you a lot of action. It was really, really tough. One thing, though, if Hush 2 is Two-Face, why did he leave the message about doing what you never could do when he found the Joker dead? Oh, it's Two-Face. Yeah,
exactly.
Like, why does a meth head help you look for the car keys he just stole from you? You know, they just do. What is going on, Donovan? Good to see you in here, brother. All right, big one from this week, Paul. Yes. The Summer of Superman kicked off with the special one-shot. Got the John Jang variant to go with the A cover as well. Freaking sweet Lobo cover. Look at that.
Absolutely.
The main man. I'm probably going to put this one on display next to my McFarlane Lobo on the Space Hog. But yeah, Summer of Superman special one-shot. It's officially underway, man. What did you think?
If you're not excited for what's coming up with Superman after reading this, I think maybe Superman isn't the character for you.
Might not be.
Yeah. It talks about the past, the present, and the future. And the past is written by Mark Waid, who, if you're not aware, in Action Comics will be delving into Superboy. That's what he's going to be doing in Action Comics. The present, which is Dan Slott, who does that chapter, which will be basically talking about the current Superman and Krypton and Kryptonite, and how much Kryptonite is here. And if you like Kryptonite, Superman Unlimited is the title for you, because it's going to be all over Superman Unlimited. Then you have the future, which was written by Joshua Williamson, who is taking Superman and is kind of the future and the all-in in the absolute universe. And he writes chapter 3 as well as the epilogue, which is a quick 2-page thing. But if you think that anybody's forgotten about what happened in the all-in special, you're wrong.
Yeah, this was an awesome issue. It was the wedding of Lana Lang and John Henry Irons taking place on the Kent farm. And like the past, present, and future thing was kind of pretty cool, because it starts with Superboy and how he was friends with Lana and how he thought she was the one. And then he was even going to reveal a secret identity to her when he's interrupted by a villain from the future, a villain of the Legion of Superheroes, who portals to right there on the Kent farm. Superboy has to rush to go fight him. In the midst of the battle, he kind of portals out of there, like unprompted. Years go by, you don't even think about it anymore. And now we're in the present, where they're using the farm for the wedding venue, and everyone's there. And while they're getting ready to get married, he portals back completely unprompted, bringing with him the storm of the decade. And Superman and his super family get to fight him, and he blips away. And it was really, really fun, really interesting. It was really like a place setter kind of story. You know, it did move the needle for it, as John and Lana are really a thing, but getting to see all the characters, getting to get a taste of what we can expect from Dan Slott as he lectures us on taking care of the planet and stopping climate change from happening. So if you see an alien from the 30th century portal to you and bring a storm of the century with him, just know it's your fault for not recycling or something. I don't know what Dan was trying to say. It was absolutely weird and ridiculous. And I hope to God he doesn't go on my John Ridley list. That reminded me he was the one.
Okay. It was very ham-fisted, that's for sure.
That's a perfect example of what ham fisting or hitting us over the head with a frying pan. So out of left, the literal super villain from the Portal brings a storm, and they have to give us a do better moment that they did in Captain America and the Winter Soldier when he gets on a literal soapbox and lectures the people for the terrorists blowing up people earlier in the show. Like, that was crazy. It was one of those moments like, what? Wait, what's happening? I even turned the page back. I'm like, yeah, storm came with bad guy. Flip the bit. Take care of the planet. Quit causing these storms. What? Very weird. But Dan Slott better not ruin Superman. He's getting an ongoing title. An ongoing.
Yes.
I've had a lot of Spider-Man fans, Freaky Louie, Brian LCS, Rob, a lot of Spider-Man fans said, like, oh man, I feel bad for you Superman fans. They don't hold Dan Slott in high regard because of something with his time era on Spider-Man. I think they blame him for maybe the Mary Jane and him breaking up or something back in the day. I don't know. I don't know enough about Spider-Man anymore.
House of L, yes, there's going to be another set. They said in June is when they should have the Lex Luthor and the robot, and so there'll be a whole nother set.
Ultraman, Robot, Lex Luthor, Mr. Terrific. Yep, that set drops in June. They really, really milked us with this first wave.
Yeah,
I got it.
Me too.
I ordered it. Two of the exact same Supermans, but one of them comes with more hands. I guess the head.
And a little bit different cape too.
Is it? Is one a wire cape and one a non-wire, or what's
looks
the
like
difference?
it, yeah. If you look at the way that they're attached differently to the figure.
Okay, I didn't notice that. I just assumed the head itself, because one of them has the ability to do the face swaps, which I've still yet to open my first collector series that has one of those. I got Simon over there, Guy over there. I haven't even messed with the first one that does that, but it's exciting.
Yeah. It looks like the one that they had going up. That one has like the plastic cape or whatever, and then the one with Crypto has like the wire cloth cape
and the face swaps and more hands. I just assumed if they're too similar, which they probably are, I'm just going to use one as a giveaway for the Legion loot when we get there, kind of thing. Hopefully they ship. And the other ones come out in June, so that's. I mean, hopefully he has them in hand. So when they're not just pre-sales, like order it, we're shipping it like immediately. But yeah, I'm going. It's a McFarlane movie wave. I'm going all in. The environmental message was half-assed. Wonder what Slott does. Drive an electric vehicle? I don't know. Even the people that are big fans of electrical vehicles, I think they burn them now. That's the thing, right? Yeah. 1 year ago, electric vehicles were going to save the planet. Now we light them on fire to save the planet. So I don't know which way they go with some of this stuff. I just stick to the regular vehicles until it's all settled. Once they figure out what we're doing, I'll know what lane to pick. Are we burning them? Are we driving them? I don't know. Yes, I bought both sets. Can I ask, did you get the gold foil action one? Couple things. This is talking about the superpower set that came with Guy. And there's a Fortress of Solitude place. Dude, I was this close to ordering it and saying, hey, Finn, this is yours. But I'm not going down the superpower set. I have the OG superpower stuff. Like, there's my little Aquaman right there from my actual childhood. See him right there. He's little. But I got a lot of the superpowers from back then. Still have Superman, Dr. Fate, Flash, Green Lantern. But I'm not doing the McFarlane one. It's Limitless. They almost got me when they did the Charlton set with Judo Master, Peacemaker, and who else did they have in it? Might have been Blue Beetle. Nah, he did that separate. There was one other one in that Charlton set he did. Yeah. Oh, Vigilante.
Right.
Which isn't Charlton, but.
Right. I didn't get the Superpowers one either. I did get a couple of the Super Friends ones that they did last week, though. I got the Green Lantern and the Dr. Fate.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Especially if you're just doing it around town driving. And to answer your question, the Comic Mint did it was Superman Day last Friday, and to celebrate Superman Day, DC Comics released 2025 reprint for Action Comics. And what's special about this one, it's in the Golden Age format size. They did a regular one, a foil one, and one with a cover by Dan Mora where Superman is drawn as David Cornsweat, which I got all three of those. And they even did a blank, and I believe Paul was the one that was able to track down the blanks. But the Comic Mint, which is an online retailer, did a retailer exclusive, one that only they had as a shop, where it's just a silver and gold cover, foil silver, foil gold. So it's black ink, silver foil, and gold foil, from what I understand. And there's only 300 of them, and you can only buy them already graded. So they order the minimum order from DC Comics, which is, I believe, 1,500 or 2,000, and then they send them to CGC, and they say, do a pre-screen, pull 300 9.8s or better, and then they destroy the rest of the run. So there's only 300 of them that exist, and it's labeled in sequential numbering. So every one of them label is a one of one label. It'll say 1 of 300, 2 of 300, so on. They were $195.95 plus tax. If you put in the promo code at checkout, super, you got $17 and some change off. No, it was like right at $20.
It was basically 10% off.
10% off, yeah. And that knocked down the total price after tax and after shipping was $199.95 after all in. And you damn right I got it.
Me too.
Yeah. I collect Action 1 reprints. Had to have it. The Superman by himself has a plastic cape, much like the Batman from Batman and Robin figures. Nice. My Batman from the Batman and Robin figures have those plastic capes, which I was thinking, Adventures Joe, there's a George Clooney Batman figure with a cloth cape. It came in the big deluxe box set that folds out and opens. It had all 5 Batman in it at the time, and that was the only way you could get them with cloth capes. And then at a later date, they started releasing them with cloth capes. They did a platinum version of Christian Bale with a cloth cape that I went and bought so he could go in the Batmobile. They were smart with the Batman Forever figure. They released it with a cloth cape, but the hands and the boots are slightly different. And the cowl, he's not all reflective. He's got like black gloves on. I don't know, slightly different. But I still don't own a George Clooney with a cloth cape. I also haven't taken the Batmobile out of the box yet either, though. But yeah, if it means putting money in Muskie Boy's pockets, his cars, much like his membership on X, is a no, thank you. Yeah. You win some, you lose some. Hey, he saved a bunch of astronauts from space.
I'll be honest with you. I won't buy one because I think they're freaking ugly.
Oh, you're talking about the Cybertruck or just electric cars in general?
The truck.
I wouldn't get one, period, because I don't think I can afford them, to be honest with you. Like, I did just a little bit of thinking with it. Like, how would an electric vehicle, not even just a Tesla, but how would an electric vehicle work for my family? Is that a smarter move financially to make? And like, when you like, well, how long do they last and how much do they cost? No, because I need my car from 2006 to keep on going. You know, we get one good car and then we get my work vehicle, you know, and yeah, I'm one of those people. I'd rather have something old that I do maintenance on and keep it going that's more mechanical than electrical. I don't need a car that somebody can shut off with a Palm Pilot from across the other side of the planet. No, thank you, sir. You know, I'm too big of a conspiracy theorist to let anyone have control over a moving vehicle that I'm in. Like, that's an obvious no for me. Now, if it's like an electrical car that I wind up myself and it has no Wi-Fi connection, or I remember when my dad's been retired for a while, 38 years in law enforcement here in Augusta, Georgia. He told me when I was a kid about a high-speed chase they were in and with a stolen vehicle, and the owner of the vehicle told him about the vehicle, and it had OnStar, which was an early roadside service thing, satellite uplink. My dad, chasing these people, were able to call OnStar, verify that they're the police. Here's a tag number. We're behind them. And OnStar could shut the car down remotely. And that was, I don't know, like 20 years ago? No, sir. No, thank you. I miss it, but got one on eBay for $20 more. Just hope it comes in. Yeah, that's not bad at all. The truck just isn't functional enough for me. I use my truck to actually haul things. You can watch this. I saw this video that, like this was from a while back. I think that like certain people you would expect to co-sign certain people based on like shared beliefs, to not go too much into this, but Tucker Carlson did a review of a Cybertruck a long time ago, and he didn't review it. He took it to an actual farmer and dropped it off with an actual farmer and let him keep it for like a month and use it on the farm. And he came back and asked the farmer for his review on it. And the farmer's like, dude, this thing is amazing. Like, he was hauling hay. He was like, yeah, that guy liked it. I'd recommend watching that if you're looking for functionality. I just don't think, for me, like they'd have to last a lot longer before you have to financially replace them. I ain't got money. I'll just lease them, just roll the lease over. I don't know. I'm gonna stick with my Jeep. Stick with my Jeep. Give me mechanical over electrical any day. So what other big books did we have dropped this week? Here's a big one, Paul. Let's see. That's a good one. That's lower on my stack. Big reveal from Ghost Machine this week.
Yeah, absolutely. The Northerner. We find out. Yeah, exactly. We've seen bits and pieces of him. Well, we've seen bits. We've seen him in little bits. We haven't seen bits and pieces of the Northerner. He's been intact every time we've seen him. But yeah, it's we finally get a full-on story with him and how he meets Simon Pure. It seems as though everything we've seen from him kind of made it seem as though they're on opposite sides. But at least by the end of this story, they're on the same side, at least to start. So I think it may be one of these, whatever situation you find them in, they'll determine whether or not they're going to be on the same side or not.
Yeah, he definitely kind of gave me the vibes like he's not on Joe's side. He's not on Simon's side. He's not against Simon. He's really on the side of protecting the future. We don't know when he's from yet, but clearly he's been to the future. But interesting rollout here. I like this issue a lot too, seeing Simon's neutrality, or what he calls neutrality, playing Switzerland in the middle of a civil war and stuff. And it's kind of interesting as well, like the timeline of all this, because we've been past this. We started with the Einstein story and stuff like that, and even took it all the way to Einstein. But I like that we're kind of going back as well. It isn't a linear storytelling. It's telling it in arcs that are concise, but when the next arc starts, it could start anywhere. We did the one shot with Johnny Appleseed. We did Annie Oakley, and now we're in the Civil War. And I think it's kind of funny that he's running around with a red coat in the Civil War. Is like, hey, what better way to show my neutrality? I'm not gray, I'm not blue, so don't shoot me.
Right, and if you look at the
who's who page is blank.
Just blank, but if you look at his arm, there's just a little bit again where you can see that he maybe have some sort of a robotic.
Look at his shoes too. We talked about this with the Ghost Machine one shot that kicked all this off, but check out his shoes. Is he wearing his space boots on that?
Yep.
Space boots. Yeah. The dude's rocking some special gear. So that's a good observation. I wonder if he is legit just a robot. We got one, maybe a cyborg or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just a futuristic suit. I don't know. It's very interesting. We done picked up a companion to tag along with us as well. A girl from a mill where some soldiers went in wanting their jacket updated with the sergeant stripes, and was just talking down to this girl in the textile mill and stuff. And she was listening to him talk about plans that could change the course of the war for the South to win. And she's like, I'm out of here. I'm going to go pass this information on. And she was running for her life when the Northerner teleported in and just dropped them like bad habits, pulled out modern day weapons, just pointed them like this. And like, what's that in your hand? By the time they got that word out, they're on the ground. I'm like, that was a cool intro. That was tough. So I'm excited to see where this goes. Very, very excited. Ghost Machine still got it, still going strong. And yeah, definitely looking forward to it. But it paled in comparison to my read of the week. What was your read of the week? Did we already cover it, do you think?
Yeah.
Which one was yours? Is that your read of the week?
No, but this was very good.
What was your read of the week?
It was probably I actually enjoyed the Superman the Summer of Superman special.
That's fair.
Yeah.
This I would say was probably, I don't know, like 3 or 4 on my list. I had a lot of high marks on my list. Not my read of the week though.
Okay. What was your read of the week?
This
Okay. Oh.
just Rom V is just
Mhm.
doing something special here. The way that I've felt about TK's Wonder Woman run, where it doesn't have to be my favorite character or the book that I get the most giddy about, but I'm just like in awe and just strucken by the quality and the oh shit moments and just the story that's playing out. This issue and the last issue really just put me back in my seat. They're like literal page droppers. I turned the page and just dropped the book like, you are kidding me. You are kidding me. Did you read this yet?
I have not.
Oh my God. I'm going to put that into the next week conversation. We're diving into New Gods
Okay.
for sure, because there's nothing I could talk about without spoiling it. Where we left this book, where you left it, was Highfather armoring up and gearing up to go out and face the invading army. This one's going to hit you in the gut, my dude. Like it's straight gut punch. Like, oof, oof, oof. So good. So good. Yeah, this was awesome too. I put up a little post about this. Murder on Mount Olympus by Agatha Christie.
Mm-hmm.
This might have been a Hercule Poirot story. It was fantastic.
I mean, if when you watch our episode tomorrow of DC Deep Dive, you'll know that I mentioned Watchmen a lot. Did you notice that this involved the murder of a god or a superhero in 9 panels on each page?
I did not. They Dave Gibboned it?
Yeah, except for 1 page. Everything else was 9 panels to a page.
It's very
and it gave me very much a it gave me very much of a Rorschach type, murder mystery type thing. Yes, definitely pick it up.
I haven't read issue 2 yet, and I don't know when issue 3 is coming.
This week, I believe.
Oh wow! So I've got some back issue stuff.
It's been a while since we have talked about comics.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't cover issue 2. It's still sitting here unread by me, but it's been a while since that came out. Yeah, I'm pulling that. That first issue was fantastic of Green Lantern Dark. It felt like a one shot, like an oversized one shot that told a complete story. So I'm curious to see where issue 2 goes. But yeah, the issue 20 of Wonder Woman marks a new era for this Tom King run. We did 19 issues telling this comprehensive, large-scale story where the villain was the Sovereign, touching on the existence of Trinity, the birth of Trinity, the death of Steve Trevor. There's a lot of crucial things in that first arc. And now we're starting the second arc. Well, what feels like is probably going to be like a couple issue story arc before we dive into like the real depth of what comes next. But it's the death of Ares. Hippolyta looks like she woke up next to a dead god, Ares, with a knife in him. And she's like, I didn't kill this guy. Everyone's going to think I did. So Wonder Woman gets Batman. They go to Mount Olympus to go doing some detective work on who could have possibly done this and to clear Hippolyta's name. And it was fun. Yeah. It was serious. It was dynamic. It was just fun.
I love
Zeus hit him with a lightning bolt.
Yeah. I love there are gods, there are immortals, and there's Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, it was solid. And that was the last one I have here. I do want to let everyone know that my journey through Turok is going strong. I'm on issue number 39 out of 47, and I've already read the yearbook. I've already read the issue 0. Now there is a couple of little, I think there's one miniseries, a 2-issue miniseries that Mike Grail did that comes after issue 30. It started, so after 39. I'm going to read 39, then the 2 issues of Turok the Hunted, which is a Mike Grail 2-issue little insert. But man, can't recommend it enough. Been loving it so much so that I got the overpriced toy, the color page, the original art, going full Turok. But it's fantastic. That's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot. Went
through a good bit. Mm-hmm. There's a Hulk book that I got this week. It actually fell behind my desk, and I didn't bother to get it because it was Godzilla versus Hulk. 2 things that I love. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going down this Marvel Godzilla rabbit hole. I'm saving all those shekels for Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong Volume 2 that's coming, that I'll be all in on. already pull all Godzilla as well from the indie publishers, IDW and such, that put them out. But it was a cool cover. It was in my box and I picked it up. I hadn't read it. Don't know if it's any good. So that's it for me this week. I do want to remind everybody this is a Guess That Key week. So Wednesday night at 9 p.m., Paul and myself will be over on his channel with special guests.
Beckerman and the Comic Vet.
For this week's episode, and Paul will be giving away a slew of stuff to a viewer in the live chat. The live chat that also gets to participate in the game show. It's really a blast. Come by, hang out with us, shoot the ish while we try to guess what key comic book each of the 4 panelists bring to the show. It really is fun. It's a good time. It's a good time. Got a full set of Amalgam this week.
Nice.
All near mint. Going Saturday, CGC them. Oh, nice. Golly, that's 22 12-issue series, then All Access, which was 4, and then issue 3 technically and 4 technically of the DC versus Marvel. So that's like 30 books. That's a lot. That's a lot to CGC, bro.
Yeah.
That's a lot to CGC. Yeah, I got a lot of Amalgam books myself. I got a lot of them signed. They actually stay sitting out over here near me because I don't put stuff away after I get back from Heroes Con for whatever reason. I've got like years worth of Heroes Con stuff around me at all time. Shiny comics. Yeah, I love the Amalgam stuff. But yeah, I appreciate everybody coming and hanging out and watching. Tomorrow's video is going to be a comprehensive look at what you can be expecting for this year's free comic book day. It's coming up fast. A lot of good stuff coming. There's going to be a couple books that I feel like are going to be chased after. And every year there's 1, 2, that the hot books for free comic book day. And you can check out that list. Point out which one or two that I think that's going to be, so you know to reach out to your shop. I don't know if your shop is in a position to pull for subscribers or whatnot, but definitely reach out to them if it's one that can, because you won't want to miss some of these. DC's doing some big stuff, a lot for the regular and absolute universe. They're not going to forget either or. So yeah, look forward to it. This might be our last free comic book day. I assume that they're going to do something to pick up the torch and keep it moving, but with Diamond going bankrupt and about to change owners, who knows what next year could look like and if it will be back or if it'll take some time to get rocking and rolling again. But live it up, get out, support your local comic shops. Don't miss the event, plan for it, take off from work, tell your friends about it. And if you can make it to ABX Comics and Games in Augusta, Georgia, that's where I'll be. Brian LCS will be there. Geek Out with Roscoe will be there. It's like a little mini con with local creators and talent, so worth the drive if you're in driving distance. Sledge, come on down.
Yeah.
It's the way to be. And until next time, as always, and as promised, we are Legion.
All that ends right now!